The color of the Conqueror is the rarest of all three hakis, and naturally, not everyone can be a Supreme King. Not everyone has the disposition to stand above all others. And for this video, we're going to try to determine who are the top 10 best candidates to be Conquerors from those who have not been confirmed so far. And there's 4 main factors that I want to look at as we move along the list to determine whether a person has what it takes to be a Conqueror. The first one is lineage, and this is cases where Conquerors is inherited through the gene pool along with other qualities of a king, with such cases as Yamato and Kaido, as well as Big Mom and Katakuri. Then there's ambition. What goals are they trying to accomplish? How high is their ceiling? Are they trying to become the Pirate King, the world's strongest swordsman? Or are they trying to go all the way and become the king of the One Piece world as we know it in its entirety, leaving absolutely nothing unconquered? Then there's accomplishments. What have they done so far? What position do they hold? What feats do they have? And what abilities do they hold that sets them apart from all others? Are they an emperor or fleet admiral? Have they defeated a top tier in solo combat? Do they have the ability to gather others around them for their cause? And the number one most important factor above all else, do they have an unwavering will to not only chase their dreams, but to stand firmly for what they believe in? Because that's what most people don't realize. Having an unwavering will isn't just about being willing to die for what you want. It's also showing restraint in the face of adversity. And now that we have all that outlined, let's get straight into the list. At number 10, I have Loki, the Prince of Elbaf, and this is probably someone that most people wouldn't even have in mind when thinking of potential conquerors, because in reality, he hasn't done much on paper. We don't even know what he looks like. He's still silhouetted, but I felt like I couldn't leave him out because the Giants absolutely should not be overlooked in this discussion. They're considered the most powerful nation in the world, and the ones leading them, I feel, should be considered conquerors. I mean, we even have a giant who is a D, so I feel like it only makes sense that we have a conqueror who is a giant as well, especially because they're known for their immense power. They might have the ability to conquer the whole world if they choose to do so, and their leaders individually might possess power on par with the strongest fighters in the series, Loki being one of them. At number 9, I have Blackbeard, and I know I can already see it. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't like this placement and think he might be someone who deserves to be much higher, maybe even number 1, and I agree, he does have a strong case, but at the same time I feel like he has an equally strong case against him. Well, maybe not equally, but just enough for me to think about it a little, you know? On one hand, he has plot relevance, he has parallels to Sebek, he's a D, an emperor, one of Luffy's final fights, and potentially the last pirate that he defeats. So yes, that's more than enough reason to be a Supreme King, especially when you throw in his ambitions. So with all that in mind, the only reasons that he's not higher is because I'm not sure where Oda's taking things. I'm not sure if Oda's gonna have him with an overdependence on devil fruits. I'm not sure if the final fight is gonna be Haki versus devil fruits between Blackbeard and Luffy. It could end up being earned power versus stolen power, and he might get a third devil fruit on top of that to make him even more cracked as a combatant. I hear a lot of arguments that if Blackbeard had all these devil fruits on top of Conqueror's Haki, he would be too broken and a far too difficult fight for Luffy. I don't believe that at all though. I don't think we should be setting these arbitrary ceilings for how strong Luffy's opponents can be when Oda hasn't even told us or shown us how strong Luffy himself can be. He can be as strong as he wants to be, so if Blackbeard has Conqueror's Haki, 3 devil fruits and all of that, he'll just have to make Luffy that much stronger. He can add new layers to Haki or just have Luffy be more versatile with his fighting style. So absolutely, Blackbeard can have the strongest devil fruits in the series and be a conqueror. No issue at all with that. And next at number 8, I have the son of a conqueror, Momonosuke, and with him, of course, it's the lineage thing, but it's not just lineage purely. Like, we see it taking shape. We see him inheriting all the things that Odin had. He is the current shogun of Wano, and just like Odin, he has the voice of all things. He has his large frame and extremely durable body. He might be a late bloomer, but everything he's meant to be is coming along slowly. Ever since the night of the raid when Kaido told him all he had to do was renounce his name and he would be allowed to live, and he refused, his conviction has been getting stronger and stronger with each passing day, each passing moment. And eventually, when he comes back into the story, we'll see that he has awakened his Conqueror's Haki. Immediately following Momo at number 7 is Kobe, and he's very similar to him in the sense that he's somewhat of a late bloomer, as he started this series off very cowardly and he did not have any drive whatsoever. But once he saw the determination and strong will of those he looked up to, it lit a fire up inside of him and he started to carve out a path of his own heading straight to the top. Now, I know he said he wanted to be an admiral, but given what Garp said in one of the most recent chapters, that Kobe is the future of the Marines, I think Kobe's gonna make it all the way and be Fleet Admiral. I think he's gonna be the face of the Marines one day. And just look at the last 2 guys who were the face of the Marines, Garp and Sengoku. They were conquerors. So someone with ambitions and goals as high as Kobe looking to take the baton from them, he will be a conqueror as well, because this power is absolutely not a pirate exclusive. There's heavy hitters on this side as well. At number 6, I have someone who a lot of people tend to overlook in this discussion, and that's Ben Beckman. The thing with Beckman is he is every bit a Rayleigh parallel as much as Zoro, and he serves as the Red Hair Pirates anchor, just like Rayleigh did for the Roger Pirates and just like Zoro is right now for the Straw Hat Pirates. And his portrayal is absolutely up there with some of the mightiest in the series. He is so strong that he elicits caution from even a naval admiral, and that says a lot to me. How many people have we seen in the series with that sort of threat level? Even his Viva card says that even among the most powerful warriors in the New World, he is as feared as his Captain Shanks. So to me, Beckman is a sort of uncrowned king for the red-haired pirates, and a very worthy candidate to be a supreme king. Coming in at number 5, I have the Golden Lion Shiki. And the thing with Shiki is, decades ago, he ruled the seas alongside Roger and Whitebeard in the age before the 4 emperors. He was among the 4 most prominent Rocks pirates, including Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido. He was one of those that had ambitions exceeding just becoming the pirate king. He wanted to rule the whole world. He even offered a hand to Roger, telling him he would like him to be his right-hand man. And Shiki knew full well how powerful Roger was, but it just goes to show he wanted it all. He didn't want anybody standing in his way on his path to world conquest. And many times in the series, he showed a very unbreakable will. Even in the face of 2 admirals, he didn't stand down. He took them on, fighting with everything he had until old Marineford was left in tatters. And I think the greatest testament to his willpower is the fact that he was the first person to escape from Impel Down and the only one to this day to do it single-handedly. And the way he did it just sounds insane. He cut off his legs and now he has swords for legs. But that's what it takes. That's what the will of a conqueror encompasses. We've seen it from Zoro. We've seen it from Luffy. These guys just refuse to be denied, no matter what the risk may be. And then at number 4, we have Akainu, and it's enough to just say he's the fleet admiral, and the fleet admiral should be a conqueror, just like Sengoku. But it's more than just that with him. It's the way he carries himself. His motto of absolute justice exemplifies his conquering spirit. This means no shortcuts, no excuses, no weak-willed performances when carrying out his duty. If he's gonna do something, he's gonna do it right, and he's gonna put 110% into it every single time. Even after taking 2 island-shattering quake punches to the chest and to the head, he was able to get up and keep fighting. And by this time, Whitebeard was already dead, but he was so determined to go above and beyond to complete the mission that nothing like the injuries that he sustained could stand in his way. He was able to even outlast and defeat another admiral, another top tier, in 10 days of combat at Punk Hazard. And the thing about it is, that was not his limit. He could have kept going because 10 days was only Aokiji's limit. He was the one who yielded at the 10-day mark after Akainu took his leg. And even now, when the Marines are under attack, facing enemies from all sides, he stands tall, ready to take on any opponent that comes his way. No coward or fear in him, no attempt to relegate the responsibility to anybody else. So when it comes to the test of being a conqueror, Akainu passes with flying colors. At number 3, I have Monkey D. Dragon, the leader of the Revolutionary Army. There is just so much you can say about him from top to bottom to support his case in being a conqueror. With the lineage thing alone, he is not only the son of a conqueror, but the father of a conqueror as well. So you just put 2 and 2 together. How did the conquerors get to his son without passing through him? We could end it right there and it would easily make a strong case, but then you have the fact that he leads one of the strongest forces in the One Piece world, one that is so mighty and so terrifying that it threatens the world government itself, because he's inspiring so many uprisings and rebellions in countries around the world, and he's using this to challenge them directly. They are so threatened by his presence and his influence that they have dubbed him the world's worst criminal. And this is a world where the 4 emperors exist, and yet they think Dragon is the worst of them all. Like Rayleigh said, the very essence of being a conqueror entails making a name for yourself on the global stage, and Dragon is so infamous. There are people who have no idea who the emperors are. They have no idea what the Yonko system is, and yet those same people know exactly who Dragon is. And that's exactly what we saw with the Straw Hats at Water 7. Many of them, unable to identify Shanks, have heard plenty of stories about Dragon. And now with number 2, we have Mihawk, the world's strongest swordsman. Mihawk has such a commanding and dominating presence that the world government saw it fit for him to have a bounty higher than 2 of the 4 emperors. And this is without any crew, no allies, no insane knowledge that would help boost his bounty. He doesn't know the history of the world. He can't read poneglyphs. He has nothing but his black blade and his monstrous haki, and that was enough to grant him a 3.59 billion berry bounty. Looking back to when Zoro first used Conqueror's haki in front of King, and King said, "So you have a kingly ambition as well." This was King indirectly saying that becoming the world's strongest swordsman is a goal reserved only for a supreme king, which in turn confirms Mihawk's place in the world as a conqueror, the king of swordsmen. Additionally, you can look at some of his other accolades, like the fact that he holds a Supreme Grade Blade. My belief is every holder of the Supreme Grade Blades is a conqueror. Just look at some of the wielders we've already had confirmed so far, Roger and Whitebeard, 2 of probably the most prominent conquerors in the entire series. You look at how much trouble Zoro had with Enma, and Enma wasn't even a Supreme Grade, it was a Great Grade Blade. It took so much out of him just to master, and Mihawk potentially has the most powerful bladed wielded weapon of all time. Can you imagine just how much willpower it took to accomplish this feat? Because not even Roger and Whitebeard can boast that claim. Not even they can say that they have black blades. But Mihawk does, and that just adds to the multitude of reasons for him to be a supreme king. And now, number 1 on my list of the unconfirmed conquerors in the series is Rox D. Zebek. To say he needs no introduction is a complete understatement. I mean, this man was the captain of 3 future emperors. He was so dangerous that Roger and Garp had to team up just to take him down. And his ambition was to become the king of the world. Had it not been for the forces that allied against him, he might have done it. Even in Kaido's top 5, we see him among 4 other confirmed conquerors. So with him, the writing is on the wall, as much if not more than anybody. And perhaps what stands out the most is Sengoku said that he may have been Roger's greatest foe. And this was after Roger already became the Pirate King, long after his battles with Garp and Whitebeard. So the reality is Zebek might have the most conquering presence in the entire series, even among the confirmed users. That's just how grand his stature was, and that could be part of the reason why the world government erased him from history entirely. Took his name straight out of the history books. And with that, we have reached the end of this video. Honestly, this was a lot of fun to make, but I'm even more excited to hear what you guys think. Let me know if you agree with my list, if you think someone should be higher or lower, or if you think there's other potential conquerors that deserve to be on the list. Comment all your thoughts down below, but also don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for more videos just like this one.